Lantern Hill Hotel was not famous, but it had a reputation. Nestled in the quiet outskirts of a small town, it stood as an eerie relic of the past, its Victorian architecture casting long shadows even in the moonlight. It was here that three friends, Jess, Mark, and Tom, found themselves one stormy night, seeking refuge from the rain that had turned their camping trip into a soggy disaster. The concierge, an elderly man with a gaunt face, greeted them with a hollow smile. "Welcome to Lantern Hill," he said, his voice as thin as the air. "Enjoy your stay." There was something unsettling about his demeanor, but the friends were too tired to care. Their rooms were on the 3rd floor, the highest point of the hotel. As they climbed the creaking stairs, they noticed the walls adorned with old portraits, their eyes seeming to follow their every move. The air grew colder, and a faint whisper seemed to drift through the corridors, though they couldn't quite make out the words. Jess's room was the largest, with a canopy bed and a view of the courtyard. Mark and Tom's rooms were smaller but cozy. They decided to explore the hotel before settling in for the night. As they wandered the dimly lit halls, they stumbled upon a grand ballroom, its chandeliers swaying gently as if moved by an unseen force. "This place is creepy," Tom muttered, his voice echoing in the vast room. Jess nodded, feeling an inexplicable chill. They returned to their rooms, hoping to sleep off the unease. But sleep did not come easily. Jess was awakened by a loud thud from the room next door, Mark's room. She hurried over and found him standing in the middle of the room, pale and shaking. "I saw something," Mark whispered. "A shadow. It moved." Tom joined them, and they decided to stick together for the rest of the night. They gathered in Jess's room, trying to make sense of what Mark had seen. The temperature seemed to drop, and the whispers grew louder, more distinct. They spoke of betrayal, of anger, of vengeance. The friends realized they needed to know more about the hotel's history. They found the concierge in the lobby, his hollow smile unchanged. When they pressed him for information, his expression darkened. "Some stories are best left untold," he warned. But their fear turned into determination, and they insisted. Reluctantly, the concierge led them to a small library hidden behind a false wall. Dust-covered books and old newspapers filled the shelves. The friends split up, searching for clues. Jess found an old journal, its pages brittle with age. It belonged to a woman named Eliza, who had once lived in the hotel. Her writings spoke of strange occurrences, of shadows that moved on their own, of voices that whispered in the night. As they delved deeper, they discovered the dark history of Lantern Hill. It had once been a grand manor owned by a wealthy family. But tragedy struck when the patriarch, consumed by greed, betrayed his business partners and drove them to ruin. In their despair, they turned to dark rituals, seeking revenge. The manor became a place of death and madness, and the spirits of the wronged lingered, trapped in their torment. The friends realized that the poltergeist haunting the hotel was one of these vengeful spirits, feeding on the fear of those who stayed within its walls. They needed to find a way to break the cycle, to release the spirit, and free themselves. Their search led them to the ballroom, where the final ritual had taken place. As they stood in the center of the room, the whispers grew into a cacophony of voices, and the shadows converged around them. The air crackled with malevolent energy, and the chandelier above began to sway violently. In a desperate attempt, they recited the words they had found in Eliza's journal, hoping to break the curse. The room grew colder, and the shadows closed in. Just as it seemed they would be consumed, a blinding light filled the ballroom, and the voices fell silent. When the light faded, the shadows were gone, and the air was still. The friends stood in stunned silence, their breaths visible in the cold. The hotel felt different, as if a weight had been lifted. They returned to their rooms, exhausted but relieved. The next morning, they found the concierge waiting for them. His smile was no longer hollow, and there was a glint of gratitude in his eyes. "Thank you," he said softly. "You've set us free." As they left Lantern Hill Hotel, the friends couldn't shake the feeling that they had been part of something extraordinary. The hotel, now bathed in sunlight, looked almost peaceful, but they knew they would never forget the shadows that had haunted its halls, nor the whispers that had chilled their souls. They never spoke of that night again, but the memory lingered, a dark shadow at the edge of their minds, a reminder of the unseen forces that linger just beyond the veil of the ordinary.